Hey everybody, and welcome to another painting video. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I'm kind of wondering if I even remember how to. But today I'm going to be working on Ortruum 88 Psi-hound Bounty Hunter. What is my mouth doing right now? Bounty Hunter from Necromunda. He is kind of a weird flesh bag, so I thought that would be fun. I've never seen this mini before. This is a commission piece. And it's resin. And I thought, you know, before I get started, I'd just take a look, see how much work this is going to be. The resin is nice. Pretty much what I've come to expect when I get resin stuff from Games Workshop, which isn't all that often anymore, honestly. I don't think this is going to be a problem. There was a parting line on this in a not great place. So right in here, see, there's a little where that, you know, my nail is stopping, and it runs all the way down here, and that's not going to be much fun. Oh, and it's on the other side. So yeah, there's some sanding there, but everything else so far has been okay. Yeah, that's not bad. Little pieces generally okay. That is fine. Overall, I would say this is a reasonably fine cast. Ba-dum-bum. So since this is kind of an organic shape, I'm not going to use a knife to do this part. I'm just going to jump straight into sandpaper. This is a 3M sandpaper. This is an old piece. It's not actually paper. It's on a stretchy film of some sort. And I like this stuff because it rolls up real nice. And you can roll it tighter or looser. And, you know, make it conform to different kinds of shapes. And it lasts quite a long time. It will get less abrasive over time, but it doesn't just sort of crumble off of there and become not abrasive at all. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in with some sanding on this. I'm probably going to need to throw in some filler putty to finish that off. But I might wait to do that until after priming because it sticks better to the primer than it does to this stuff, the resin. Oh, that kind of cleaned up nice. All right, well, I'm going to finish the sanding on my own, and then just go ahead and do assembly, because it's really not, you know, the instructions are here. There's just that. That's all there is to it. This is a weird model. He's just a floaty flesh bag. Okay, so let me get it ready for paint, and then I will come back. Okay, it went together really well, no surprises. I decided to keep his mechanical arms separate and the halo separate. So, and of course he's not going to be mounted to the base yet. I am priming this with my airbrush with Stynylrez primer, my favorite primer of all time. Nah, that's not true. There was a lacquer-based primer back in the like 80s, 90s that I liked a lot. Floquill figure primer, I think it was. They don't make it anymore. So yeah, my favorite of all time is no more. But this is really good. and less toxic, so it's got that going for it. Alrighty. Okay. I generally prime with black. I don't always prime with black, but my process tends to resolve on working dark to light, so black works out for me. And on this one, it should work out just fine. The only times I don't use black is when, well, A, I'm out of it, or B, the color that I'm going to be using really wants a light base, something like a yellow or a bright red or orange. Those are colors that I would start with white. I do sometimes use gray too, if like the overall coloring is going to be gray. I might start with a gray primer. Alright, and she's primed. Got to clean the airbrush now, and I'll be back. Alright, so first thing here is we're going to start with our first flesh tone. I am using Watercolors Brown 1, which this may be the last time I use this color. It's almost empty, and I'm not sure I'm going to be replacing this in the future simply because their prices have gone up. I'm trying other paints. As much as I like the watercolor stuff, I don't like having to wait 10 days to get replacement paints, especially if they're not any cheaper. So here we go. This is mostly just a full base coat. I am focusing more on the high points than on the lower points. But not a huge deal if this is kind of a single uniform tone. I think I made my mix a little thicker than I normally do. It's doing a little spitting. Honestly, I don't even care that much about that. If there's little dots of extra color, that'll just become variations in the skin, and if the skin's a little mottled or it has blotches, for this guy, that's fine. I might even go in and spatter some paint on it myself. But like I said, I work dark to light most times, and this is a much darker skin tone than I'm going to be looking for the final finish. I don't want this guy to look like he just got back from the beach, but this is a good place to start. Alright, I'm gonna take a closer look at this with my eyes out of camera, see if there's any more touch-up that needs to get done, and then I'll be back. Well, I got so excited about the concept of creating blotches on the skin that I mixed up a batch of this Watercolors Pink 5, which is their really dark pink, and I have been blotching it on there. You set your airbrush to a very low pressure, like 5 pounds maybe. I don't have a measure for it because I'm adjusting it all from here. And you mix your paint just a little bit on the thicker side, and then you can blotch it on. And I had already recorded a whole explanation while I was doing this and realized just now that I actually wasn't recording. So I'm doing the explanation again and doing a little bit more blotching so that you can actually see the process. So, but now I'm done. And I'm going to do another coat of light or flesh tone on this, but I gotta clean this color out, so I'll be back. Okay, just making sure I was actually running the video this time. And now I'm just moving to this Watercolors Flesh 3 here, lighter flesh tone. We're going to do some highlights and tie in that pink a little bit. Make it move a little bit into the background, not be so in your face. I'm going to focus on the higher portions, obviously. I've made this paint a little thinner. It makes it easier, if you make your paint a little thin, it makes it easier to get in close, get in tight. And obviously it's going to be slightly more transparent so that you can better control, you know, where it's going and what it's doing, and you can build it up a little at a time. It's always good if you can make the detail work for you. So, for example, getting it, you know, putting it in your spray in the direction of your lighting. So you're highlighting the areas of most light, and the airbrush is going to sort of assist you in putting the paint where it can get to and not where it can't, obviously, but in the same way that light works. So if you can do that, you can't always do that because it doesn't always, you can't, like this is getting in the way of trying to do that here. It creates a giant overhang. So, you know, you do your best. You do what you can. If you can do it, you do it. It helps out. I think we're going to go a little lighter on this flesh tone too. We'll do one more step on that. Yeah, I would like him to be really pasty. But we're getting there. Alright, I'm going to do a little bit more close-in work. And then I'll come back. Well, I can't believe I did it again, but I did it again. I didn't get the recording going before I started work, which is really a shame because I didn't think I was going to be able to do much of this highlight on camera, and I was able to, and then I forgot to record it. Well, I didn't forget. I thought I was recording. This is what I get for being out of practice and doing this. Anyway, I've been using Watercolors Flesh 2, which is this light color down here in the airbrush. And, you know, just getting those highlights going and making him pastier looking. And I think he's looking pretty good so far. And at this point, I'm kind of done with the airbrush for the most part. Maybe not completely, but probably mostly. And now I'm going to clean the airbrush, and I'll come back with the next step. All right, I've decided to go back to that dark pink, Pink 5, Watercolors Pink 5. And I'm making up a, not so much a wash, really more of a glaze. Although I'm gonna place it more like a wash. And put some color into this flesh tone. But yeah, I'm not going to do a generalized wash with it, because I really do want that color to stay in the recesses. I'm just warming it up. Giving the flesh a little more life. Hopefully making it just a bit yuckier, because this guy is pretty gross, honestly. Kind of blending it out with my finger when I see it when I see that there may be a little bit too much where I don't want it. Just press my finger into it, lift it up, press it back down again. It'll blend it out. You want to be a little careful with that. If you do, for example, do it twice, you'd probably end up with a fingerprint, and you don't want that. Because you go down once, you'd make your finger wet, you go down again, and then you're just going to leave that print there. Definitely want to get it into these little recesses. Make them look kind of sore and angry. The same thing around where flesh is meeting anything mechanical. You know, you want it to look like that's not, the body's not cool with that. That's looking pretty good. Okay, I gotta figure out what my next step is. Alright, so while I was away, I reblocked in everything that wasn't flesh in black. But what I'm going to do now is block in all the metal bits with Pro Acryl Dark Silver Metallic, which I have right here. And this isn't going to be terribly interesting, so I'm just going to do this for a second on screen, and then I'm going to move off screen because won't take me as long to do that. And there's really not much to say here because I'm just slapping this color on as my kind of base metallic. And I'm going to do it on all of the metallic bits, and then I'll be back. Alright, much like the dark silver, I'm working on the bronze now, and as you can see, I put the halo on. It probably could have been on there from the beginning, although it looks like it might have gotten in the way of some stuff, so maybe it's just as well that I didn't. But there's not much to talk about here because I'm just blocking in this color with a brush. Oh, color, yeah. Liquitex Iridescent Rich Bronze, which is just their metallic bronze color. Whoop. There we go. I'm a fan of the Liquitex. Mostly, I think what I like about it is that, it comes in bulk, and I go through a lot of paint. So it's become more and more painful to purchase hobby paints these days. I still do it, but if I can find bulk paints that save me some money, that work just as well, I do that. And this is definitely one of those cases where that's the fact. Anyway, let me go finish this up. I'll be back. Alright, my next step is to grimy up the metallics with a nice liberal coating of Agrax Earthshade. I'm doing that both on the dark silver and on the bronze. Get our contrast going, but also, giving a little of that 40K-ish grime to everything. And then we'll do highlights when this is all done. So I'll be back. Alright, so the next thing is to block in the red bits. And I'm going to be using Createx Opaque Red. I have a lot of different brands of paint. I like this stuff. It covers really well. I bought it just to test it out a while back, and I've been using it a fair amount, and I might try some of their other colors. The opaque isn't quite as opaque as some of the other high pigment density paints that our hobby produces, but I'm okay with that, actually. They cover well enough. You get a couple of coats and you're pretty good to go. So I've got to do these armor bits, and then these pieces down here, and his little weird arm wings. I don't know what the hell those are. Those get some red, and there's some red back here as well. So let me finish that up, and then I'll be back. All right, next up, a bit of weathering. The official picture of this guy shows a bit of verdigris over all of the metal bits. So I grabbed some turquoise 5. We're going to start with that. That might be enough, or, you know, I might move to something else. Maybe a little lighter color after this. We'll see. So this is just a little wash made with water, nothing special. Just need to get it into the crevices. I don't really want too much. I might have to go back over with the bronze when I'm done. But yeah, just water and paint to make this particular wash. I want it to be a little blotchy. I definitely want it to gather in the recesses. And we'll be doing it on, well, kind of everything, really. Some places more than other places. But I guess this just goes along with that whole kind of aged look that you get with some of this stuff. All right, let me... Weird how, like, this isn't real detail work, but I kind of feel like it's harder to do this on camera than some of the stuff that is more like detail work. Anyway, so I'm going to go do that, and then I'll be back. All right, I have only used the dark turquoise on there so far. I'm not sure how well you can see it on camera. I'm not seeing it too much on the screen, but sometimes it looks better on the recording than live. But I like it. It's not as heavy-handed as the example on the GW website. And at this point, there's not too much left to do on him anyway. I've got to do his teeth. I'm going to highlight all the metal a little bit using this Liquitex iridescent rich silver that I've got down here. That's going to be more on the dark silver than it is on the bronze, but I am going to use it on the bronze as well. Just, you know, a lot thinner on that, and just pick up the edges just so I can make all the detail pop a little bit. And then I'll put the arms on, and then I can work on the base. And we'll talk a little bit about the base when I'm done with this. I'll be back in a moment. So I went ahead and did a little bit lighter, a coat of the verdigris into some of the recesses using Warcolors Turquoise 4. And again, I'm not sure exactly how well you can see that here. The final pictures you'll be able to see it. But anyway, for now, he's kind of done. And I'm moving on to the base. And I'm just going to give it a coat of burnt sienna umber to start. This is a scale color, artist color. And I need a big brush. There we go. I like the scale colors. Scale Color Artist series is pretty nice. Anyway, what I'm trying to do here is do a kind kind of mostly rusty floor paneling, and I'm going to use some rust effects on it, which I've been doing for this client in the past. So I want to keep things kind of consistent, but I need to get this sort of initial old rust base on there before moving on to that part. And now I just need to wait for this to dry, and then we'll be back. Alright, so I'm going to be using this stuff, Rust, water-soluble paint from Dirty Down. I've used this quite a bit. I like it. I don't love it. It does give a realistic effect, but it is not very controllable. It's very difficult to predict what kind of outcome you're going to get. And so that's kind of why I don't love it, because I would really like to have more control over the outcome than this tends to give. But for a base, it's fine. And one of the things you really absolutely have to do when you use this stuff is agitate the hell out of it. Actually, you got to really mix it, because the sludge in there clumps up on the bottom after a relatively short period of time. And yeah, and then if you don't do that, then you don't get a good result. So that's it. I am just going to clean my brush and get that crap off of there. And I'm going to let this sit for a bit, because it takes a little while for it to set. And I don't want to... Sometimes you get a better effect if you just let it go and not try to force the dry time. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let that go. And then I'll be back when it is done. And there it is. She's all done. There's the base. I actually really like how this one turned out. They don't always usually get that much sort of swirly tide marks and stuff, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, you'll be able to see the final photo right after I'm done talking at you. But overall, pretty fun, pretty straightforward little piece. I like it. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please put them below, and I will answer them for you. And that's going to do it for this video. And yeah, stay tuned. We have photo happening. 3, 2, 1, now.